Today we're going to talk about why families choose the ISB community. So by now, some of you might have got more of a sense that ISB really is a community school, and what that really means we'll be covering in this presentation. This is the fourth and final installment of a webinar series that look to go outside of just the divisional presentation, so elementary, middle, and high, and really go into a deep dive on what makes us very different. And so we covered our athletics program, our arts program, our college counseling program. And what we're going to do today is really not going into a program, but we're really looking at why ISB has this reputation of being a very special place from a community point of view. So we're going to be getting into all of that. And there's going to be quite a few practical points, I think, at the end about actually relocating to Thailand. So the majority of our new students that join ISB are actually coming in from abroad. So I'll also try and finish on the hour because it might be quite either late at night or early in the morning for a lot of you dialing in. So the first thing I have to say is welcome to Thailand, and this is welcome if you will be coming to Thailand. If you're considering coming to Thailand, I would wholeheartedly recommend this as a place to move your family. It's got obviously incredible natural beauty. Beaches obviously are very famous here. Waterfalls maybe less so. Beautiful mountains for hiking and trekking. So for those of you who love camping, there's plenty of that to do here. Amazing wildlife, culture, UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The culture is really amazing. Many different kind of cultural celebrations that happen here. Obviously, it's a majority Buddhist country. Beautiful, welcoming temples all over the country, and I think all of you are probably aware of Thai food and the role that the cuisine plays here. So be sure that you'll put on a little bit of weight when you arrive. But when it comes to healthcare, it's got obviously fantastic healthcare, huge medical tourism industry here. A great place just to relax and unwind. Thai massage, I think is something that a lot of you might be looking forward to. And the golf courses here are spectacular. Just in terms of work and employment, Thailand is a big economy. It's the third largest economy in the ASEAN region. But interestingly, it's also a headquarters for many of the United Nations agencies that look after everything, oversee everything from Afghanistan to the Pacific Islands. Over 40 agencies based here, and also it's a very large. There's a very large U.S. embassy here and a very big diplomatic presence in general. So in terms of work, in terms of recreation, a place to have your family, it's an absolutely fantastic place, and you won't be surprised to know that one of our fastest growing segments of student and family are families that are coming in from around the region just to live and study in Thailand. So really study is the motivation for coming here. So, fantastic schools of which ISB is one, but also a really friendly place to live, work, and to base your family. So today we're going to cover quite a lot of ground. We'll quickly look at who we are, what community means to us, the practical points around living in Nichada Thani, which is the real estate residential development in which ISB sits, and a little bit about how you can connect and contribute as a community school, and then a few other practical points before we take Q&A. So just to let you know, you have been put on mute. You're not able to turn on your video. So you can rest easy that we won't see your video. But if you would like to put in questions, you can go into your chat, which you can see the chat box, which is on the taskbar there. and you can just type in messages there to me, so you can direct them to me. Okay, so on that, I'll just give a really quick introduction of who I am. So my name is Rob. I think this is my 8th year at ISB. I originally joined the school to really look at enrollment. I had an enrollment focus. And what I quickly learned was this entity, this residential neighborhood, Nichada Thani, seem to have an outsized role in actually who we are, and also a big bearing on our fortunes. So I got to know the community very, very well, and absolutely, Nichada and the entire kind of lifestyle proposition of here living in Thailand, living in Nichada, was really, really something significant, and I'm going to share a lot of that with you today. So, who are we? Well, ISB, we started in the 1950s. So this year is in fact our 75th year. And we started on the grounds of the US Embassy in downtown Bangkok. And at that time, it was really to serve the needs of mobile families with the US Embassy. Now, of course, that grew, and other embassies wanted to get involved. But actually, to this day, we still have a very strong relationship with the US Embassy, and about 1 in 10 of our students is a US government family. By the 1980s, we'd become a bit more ambitious, and we'd outgrown a couple of campuses, which started to struggle with capacity. And we rented some land in downtown Bangkok. This is in the Sukhumvit area. And as you can see there, we had, what is a fairly conventional looking school for the 1980s. And you can see there the skyline. You can actually see the sky in that photo, which really today you would not be able to see at all, because it's really now down in the central business district and kind of residential area for those downtown professionals. So by the 1990s, we'd really kind of outgrown even that campus. We wanted to do more. We wanted to do more athletics. We wanted to do more dramatic production. We wanted to do more orchestra, and simply we were not able to do it on that campus. So what you see today is our relatively new home. We've been there since the 90s, but this just allowed us to just do so much more and just create these incredible experiences and memories for all of our students who have come through. So as you can see there, it's a absolutely expansive campus. It's just enabled us to do so much more to also increase our enrollment. And I think what's a really special thing about this campus in North Bangkok is that it's integrated into a residential community, which means now, the vast majority of our students can walk and cycle to school. And this has had a really interesting impact on the outcomes of our students, how late the campus can stay open, and we're going to get into a little bit about how that has really kind of impacted our fortunes. So I'm just going to clear all the drawings out. There we go. So we are over 1,800 students, so that's a relatively large international school for the region. We are from age 3 to 18, so we say pre-K through grade 12. Very, very diverse school, so over 65 nationalities, although if we were to sort of draw that and be very simplistic about it, it would be about a third US, a third host nation, Thailand, and a third international. So we really are a American-style international school in Thailand. So quite nicely represented there. And we are the only school in Thailand that's able to say that or international school that's able to say we've been here for 75 years. So it's a really important year for us. We're going to be celebrating, having big celebrations on May the 14th, which is officially our 75th birthday. And yeah, we're very, very proud of what's come before us, and also leaving a legacy for the future. So these are just some of our alumni here, and what I think two notable points is that how successful our alumni have been across all walks of life. So we have Tammy Duckworth, decorated veteran politician, Tan Min Oo, who's an academic, very well known Lydia Dean, who is obviously a very well known celebrity here in Thailand, and then Bill Heineke on the right there, who is probably you would have heard of Anantara Hotels, Avani Hotels, and a lot of the fast food service here in Thailand, like a pizza company, Burger King, etc. So interestingly, those two on the right, Lydia and Bill, they've actually, really kept in touch with the school. Lydia has got two of her kids at the school. So yeah, we're very lucky to see quite a bit of her and her family. And then Bill Heineke, I think there are three generations of Heinekes which have come through ISB. So the last one graduated a few years ago. Word on the grapevine is that there's another generation maybe about to come through. But it's just wonderful that these are, alumni doing amazing things, but still very proud of their ISB connection and keeping in touch with the school. So want to talk a little bit about ISB and the community experience. So when we talk about community, what is it that we're really talking about? Well, as I mentioned, we really, the majority of our students really live in and around their campus. So not only are we schoolmates, but we're also neighbors, and that creates something incredibly special. But having said that, there's still something more that we need to kind of explore, and I think this is best explained by what goes on our campus, and what is that special sauce that goes into creating the kind of community that we are. So I'd say in general, we really have a high touch approach to well-being, agency, and finding what we call finding your people, because it is a big school. But being a big school, students are actually more likely to be able to find their people, and we understand that belonging is really central to student well-being and learning. So we have programs and buddy systems for new students to ensure that this process of finding your people becomes as short as possible. And in general, you'll find the approach of all the adults at ISB as kind, positive, and certainly student-centered. A simple example was given to me the other day by a mother of a recent high school transfer across from another school in Bangkok, who said she was delighted and also shocked when her daughter was allowed to resit one of her exams. And what this is just a way of taking a huge amount of pressure off kids, and also acknowledging that sometimes they will have a bad day. But maybe another example of the student-centeredness is the 4-year advisory program in high school, where students have the same peer group in their advisory class throughout the 4 years, and also the same advisor across those 4 years. So the same adult. So what that means is that they create a very close group of friends and peers who maybe are outside of their normal friendship or athletic or art circles, but also a mentor in an adult who really gets to know that student very, very well, and then is able to advocate across them for them across all areas of the school. And from I think the very early years, and this is maybe down to our Reggio Emilia philosophy, is that all voices are respected, all student voices are respected. and all output and what students produce and create is received without negativity. And I think this culture goes through the whole school, in which our students feel like they can take risks, they can take big swings, they can put themselves out there without the fear of any consequences. The next one is really around focus on process and participation, rather than competition. And I think that one of the other interesting things is that a lot of our programs integrate grade levels and also do not tend to separate them. So, rather than maybe competing a lot within your 1 year group, students are able to kind of break out of that and really work with students in other grade levels. So this is kind of a kind of release valve against some of what some parents who have transferred to ISB call kind of toxic competition that can happen in other year groups at other schools. And this frequent collaboration between grade levels can be seen throughout elementary, middle, and high. So whether it's in sports, whether it's in drama, music, art, there are grade levels interacting and collaborating with one another. So one example of this actually inside the classroom is in the middle school, where part of our math acceleration program, they might be sitting in a high school math class. And, in high school itself, ISB really is almost like a collegiate system in which, high schoolers are collaborating in terms of their clubs, in bands, in the classroom, on projects and service. Really in high school, it's really a real melting pot across all grade levels. So this really in general leads to much stronger social connection. There's kind of that connective tissue between students across all these grade levels, wider networks, avenues for collaboration, and a real kind of feeling of togetherness. So, and I would say kind of lastly, I think it's a very simple one, but maybe sometimes misunderstood, is that ISB is a not-for-profit school. So just simply put, there isn't really any other agenda for this institution other than doing what's best for kids. And I think that again, this is something which is very rare in Bangkok, one of a very small number of not-for-profit schools, but it really does go a long way to kind of explain why our heart's really in the right place. And I'll also kind of finish this slide by saying, our positive sense of community is largely experienced through the well-being of our kids. So, what we do find is that families do move to Nichada, they do move to ISB, they do have an incredible experience here, but it's really the experience of the kids, like the joy, the sense of community. Really, it's best experienced and most richly experienced through watching their kids develop in a happy, confident, and meaningful way. So I think that this is probably one slide that really talks about our secret sauce. Yes, we're on one campus and we're in one residential community, but it's also part of the school culture that makes this place so special. So I want to give you, I've been talking a lot, but I want to give you some kind of sense of how this feeling of community, all the way from elementary through to high, is experienced. And the best way to explain this is in Spirit Week, which actually just finished last week. But Spirit Week is I wonder what parents must think if they turned up to the school in Spirit Week, because it doesn't really resemble a school, but more of a kind of resort. There's a different dress code every day, so it could be Jersey Day from your favorite football team or baseball team or rugby team. There are all kinds of fun activities going on. There's a Songkran theme day where people play water. There's one day where you come in wearing your pajamas, and then Hawaiian shirt day and all kinds of activities going on. And this week is just all really about fun. It's about students having fun, not taking themselves too seriously, and just the feeling that, when you're all doing it, it's just a real feeling of togetherness. And this all culminates in a fantastic night. And look at this, that this is a night. This is a school open at night, right? Which is not very common in anywhere, including Bangkok. But what we do is we invite dozens of Bangkok-based schools to come to our campus and compete. And the atmosphere is just absolutely fantastic. The entire community comes out, whether you're a parent of an early years kid, you'll be out there supporting all of these sports going on across all the campus. So you can see there how really it gets people going. And so spirit is something, it's quite hard to define, but it's something which is very alive and well at ISB. And we're very lucky to have a group of committed parents who really promote school spirit. We call them our booster club, and they're really there to kind of highlight and boost the awareness and presence of activities that go on outside of the classroom. They're very important when it comes to recognition. So they arrange a lot of banquets. They produce and pay for a lot of the merch. They raise a lot of funds for the school. So an absolutely key component when it comes to boosting boosting school spirit. A few other ways in which our community really comes together across students, parents, faculty is our intercultural family fair. So believe it or not, all of the people who are preparing and serving food in these photos are actually parents. So parents come together, they cook for everybody. There's lots of rides and games. We have a parade of nations where everyone dresses up in their national dress, and it's just a fantastic fantastic day. We have alumni joining us. We have corporate partners. We have parents, students of every age. It's just a time where everybody gets together, and you really palpably feel the pride and spirit of the school. The Panther Run is something that we do at the beginning of every semester. As you can see, some take it more seriously than others, but it's a great way to kind of kick off the year, work off some of the pounds that you've put on during the holidays, and get together and have a jog around Nichada Thani and ISB, and then have a pancake breakfast together. So it's again just another one of those things which really brings our community together. We also have our cultural days. So again, you can see here a lot of our parents are celebrating their culture by preparing food for the faculty and the students. So across Korean, Japanese, Thai, and a lot of the smaller nations represented at ISB, there are all these avenues for parents to kind of share their cultures and bring who they are into the school. And I think one of the ways in which I think kind of the real sort of soft underbelly of the ISB community, where we really get where we really see some of our kind of most tenderest moments are just in the way in which we treat our seniors. So these are the grade 12 students who are leaving ISB, many of them after 15 years at the school. And so this is where the parents will come together, or parents of seniors, and create a committee that arrange treats for them. They'll kind of make lunch for them. They'll arrange a lot of their kind of goodbye merch, a huge amount of programming for them, and all, yeah, it's all really coming from the heart, and the way in which we send these students off and acknowledge that and honor their time at ISB is really touching. So you can see there, there's also on graduation a huge golf cart parade around Nichada Thani. So as you may or may not know, there are many ways to get around Nichada, but because it's a 30 kilometer per hour speed limit, golf cart is a very convenient and safe way. So there's a huge golf cart rally around that time, and all of our elementary school students will draw a portrait of one of the seniors, and it gets hung up throughout the school. So all the way from our elementary kids all the way to our parents, we're acknowledging our seniors passing out of the school. Some of those portraits have kind of interesting results, but it usually draws a lot of smiles from our seniors, and is a great way to send off our great fathers. So I think, just to sum all this up, really, our common aim is to create a memorable school experience where a child's time is happy and connected. Really, we just want, from the day that our students step into ISB, we want them to belong. We want them to be part of a community, and that community involves their peers, all their schoolmates, and the wider parent and faculty community. And that really is our golden thread. Okay, so we're going to move into matters a little bit more practical. And that's really around the kind of nuts and bolts of Nichada Thani. So this is Nichada in front of you. You can see the predominant mood here is green. It is a very green neighborhood. They do a fantastic job of keeping the place, tidy, considering everything is growing all around you. Yeah, it was really built back in the 90s, and ISB was really part of that construction. So this was kind of a community built with ISB and families in mind. If I was to pick three things which make Nichada maybe stand out from pretty much anywhere else in Bangkok, it's the fact that it's very pet friendly. So your dog and your dog and cat and other furry friends are very, very welcome here. Bikes are everywhere. So I would say a very large number of our students cycle to school, and maybe cycle back home in the afternoon, grabbing a snack, and then cycle back to the campus again for after school activities. And there are, I think, over 20 kilometers of cycle lane in there. So very much built with kids biking to school in mind. And then there's Halloween. So a lot of trick or treating. Everybody knows each other here. So trick or treating is something which can happen in Nichada, which really is not really feasible elsewhere. So just some fast facts on Nichada. So you can see kind of the helicopter view there. You can see just in the lower part of that photo, you can see some of the campus, and then there's a big lake there with some condos and this kind of thing. So you can see it really is integrated. But we're the only school in Bangkok to be physically located inside a community development of over 2,000 homes. So that's kind of a big deal. There may be a few other schools which have a couple of hundred houses or apartments, but this is on a scale which does not exist anywhere else, and it will never exist because of the way in which Bangkok is now building out. So this, I'd say the opportunity to construct anything like this now has gone, which makes it incredibly unique. More than 75% of our students live within walking or cycling distance of the school. So pretty much, if you go to ISB, pretty much you're going to be, you're looking to live in or around Nichada. And more than 400 parents participate across, 50 annual events, programs, and community groups. So just really, when it comes to parents, it's just really like an open campus, massive amount of community involvement, which is fantastic. It just helps us do a lot more and create even more rich experiences and memories for our kids. So, okay, so co-location, understand the facts, but how does it palpably kind of benefit us? So on the left here, you can see our campus opening hours. So our campus is this event happening now, which is actually on Spirit Night, one of our kids playing football there. This is at nighttime. So you can see the kind of Jumbotron in the background. And it's at nighttime because our campus stays open till 8 p.m. Now that's really unique, and it really doesn't happen really in many schools at all. So what this means is this extension of the opening hours. Um, just imagine that now, because you have all of these students on your doorstep, you're able to there's a lot more demand on programs. So there's more programs, and if the more kids you have, the more breadth you have. So you can do a lot of different types of programs and still get enough kids to fill them. And so what you can also do is you can increase the quality, because you can find better instructors. You can find, maybe athletics coaches for the Thai national, volleyball team, or long jump, Thai Olympic long jump, coach, who can actually then come in here after their day job, can actually come to the campus and work with our kids. So able to kind of capture a whole load of more talent. And if you were on Chris Mott's athletics school, you'd understand a bit more about how we get that depth in our athletics program. If you live near the school, there are just absolutely, it's relentless, the number of art exhibitions and concerts and events that are taking place. And these are, a lot of them are happening in the evening. So, maybe instead of going to the shopping mall, your kids are attending a musical or a play or an art exhibition. And so, I won't tell you what that does for their development and appreciation. And then just really in terms of just the skills our kids are developing, they're just spending way more time with their peers, either training or practicing or pursuing a passion. And just that additional time, it just really shows in our results, and I'll show you that a little bit later. Okay, so safety and convenience. So really, we describe our campus as free range. It's a massive campus, 37 acres. And so there's so much going on there, and kids can just kind of really, range freely. And also within Nichada as well, they can cycle to their friends' houses, and really they can just be a lot more independent than if they were in downtown Bangkok. As I said, they've got dedicated cycle lanes, and there are over 75 security guards across the development that are on duty at any one time. And during busy school times, there are also crossing guards as well. So kids can cross the roads and move safely around the neighborhood. And it's also worth mentioning that actually, we've been quite sort of fortunate when it comes to risk mitigation and disaster preparedness. So some of you might have heard that last year there was an earthquake in Bangkok. Some schools closed. A lot of kids living downtown had quite drastic damage to their condos, especially anything above, I think, the 20th floor. Or 15th floor was badly affected. For us, we were hosting a international meet, I think, for athletics, and we didn't have any disruption at all. We went ahead. I mean, our tallest building is 3 stories high. Nichada is mainly kind of low-rise buildings, so we just sort of kept going as normal. Really, it was just keep calm and carry on. And also for COVID as well, we were the first school open again because of our close relationships with the government. We were actually used as a pilot school in how to safely reopen. And also, obviously, being very expansive as well helped a lot. So, Thailand does have intermittent issues, heat, PM2.5 flooding, but we're sort of fairly well located to deal with a lot of this. The last one is really social connection. So, living and living together, being neighbors, it really kind of allows parents those avenues to consistently come to campus each day and get themselves involved in programs that benefit learners. So it could be in classroom, it could be a coordinator for a dance class, for instance. And that social connection then will happen beyond grade levels, because either through nationality or through interest, not only just who your kids happen to be studying with. This really improves our student retention. So people just want to stay. So rather than having, kids having their hearts broken every year when their friends leave, that's slightly less of a concern for us, because we just tend to retain a lot more of our families that just want to stay in this community. And the last thing I'll say about sort of parents and their involvement in the school is really around positive modeling. So And I think it's amazing for kids to be able to see their parents, not only as a parent, but also as a community member and a valued contributor to what's going on at the school. And that's great way to kind of like model contribution to students. It really is worth a try. So really to sum up there, is that co-location enables a highly differentiated learning experience that strongly influences student outcomes. Okay, so if you want to see how some of these outcomes have been, how we can actually show those. So this is our athletics program here. So some fantastic shots of our athletes in action. What you can see here is that in the conference in which we compete, you can see there along the bottom is high school enrollment across 5 other schools. So that's International School KL, International School Manila, Taipei American School, Jakarta Intercultural School, and Singapore American School. So most of them have much larger high schoolers and talent to draw on an ISB, but they don't have what we have. And so you can see the number of gold medals we have just far exceeds them. It exceeds theirs. And really, I mean, not only obviously, I'll doff my hat to my colleague Chris Mott here, our athletics director, who's just doing a great job at building athletes. But it just means that it shows that our kids are just spending a huge amount more time together, and also have this incredible program depth because we're able to access fantastic instructors. In the arts as well, so some great snaps of our arts program there. We just have these incredible performances and concerts going on all of the time. So, as I said again, there was a mother who said to me she loves to take her twins to the theater, or to orchestra performance, rather than take them to the shopping mall or somewhere else, because they just get all of this incredible culture on their doorstep. So really, when it comes to this co-location here, and I never thought I'd ever create a meme in my life, but it seems like I have. There's this scene here, which is quite well known, which is they someone says they have an army, but then Iron Man says, well, we have a Hulk. Similarly, there's so many schools to choose from now in Bangkok. All of them have brand new campus and what do we have? We have something which nobody really can replicate. It's so difficult. And this is really kind of our superpower, is that we're able to kind of live, study, and build this sense of community together. So just to quickly orient you around Nichada Thani. So that's kind of it in front of you there. So around 2,000 kind of individual homes there. You can see ISB here in the middle. You can see it takes up quite a large part of the neighborhood. And next to it, we have 7-Eleven, Starbucks, and also a clinic, which is quite well reviewed. And then in this area, we have a gym. There are actually 3 gyms throughout the neighborhood. But as you can see, the massive swimming pool there, and also a community church, which hosts a lot of events as well. Now, on the other side, towards the expressway, there's a Villa Market, which is an international supermarket that has a lot of imported goods, where most people do their shopping. And then very, very importantly for the commuters out there, there is the expressway, which is it's the express gate to get onto the expressway to then get downtown. So you can see here, this is what most of the kind of condos and apartments look like. So these are all for either for rent or you could actually purchase. And then these are what the kind of low-rise houses look like. They're all kind of much of a muchness. They're all sort of anything from 2 to kind of 5 bedrooms. But some of them have a pool, some of them have a shared pool. But ultimately, you want to get hooked up with a very good realtor here. We have a list of them at the school. There are some bad realtors out there that we would recommend avoiding. You can just check in with us first. I would recommend that to make sure that you're going to be able to find a nice place. So these are some of this is a bit of a kind of show reel of some of the condos. Some are quite high rise, nice views over the lakes. And some are a bit more kind of low rise. You can see a shared pool there. And then these are some of the houses, some more expansive than others. Inside, they do tend to be quite quite spacious. So maybe a few trips to IKEA required. And yeah, some of them have their own pool, some have a shared pool. So yeah, please do get in touch with us if you need an introduction to a realtor. So just nearby, about 5 minutes away, there's lots going on. So that's Central World, which is a shopping mall with a cinema and all kinds of sort of shops and supermarket as well. You can reach that by golf cart. Then there's World Medical Center, which is one of the hospitals nearby. There's a football club. If you're football mad, there's Nichada Thani Football Club, which really holds its own. Go-karting track. There's a dog hotel very nearby, run by an ISB alumni, which is fun. Kokret, which is the kind of, you can see that stupa down there. It's a bit wonky. That's a really beautiful green island very close to the school, which is well worth checking out. And then plenty of like cafes with playgrounds and stuff like that. So really well served. We're now going to talk a little bit about the facilities you have on campus. So these were built for the kids, but I'm here to inform you that you can also use them as well. So you have set times of the day where parents can come in and use these. So this is the golf center, which also has pros. So you can also get golf lessons if your swing is a bit rusty. You can use our swimming pool. So we have a couple of swimming pools. This is the Olympic size one, which you're very welcome to use. We have tennis courts, which you're also welcome to use. Our fitness center, a whole load of brand new techno gym equipment. All of that available for you as well. Although there are 3 gyms in and around Nichada, this one is also available. So just to kind of understand where we're located, so you can see we're kind of in North Bangkok. You can see Don Mueang Airport there on the right, which is about 25 minutes away. And then Suvarnabhumi down in the bottom right, which is actually only about 40 minutes away, even though it looks further. You can be there in 45 minutes on the expressway. So whilst we're sort of seemingly quite far there in the north, we have a beautiful place called Koh Kret, which is well worth checking out. Amazing day out there. And you can see here we're quite near the Ministry of Energy, so there's a lot of the big international oil companies, energy companies are based around there. So quite a few of them base themselves in Nichada. Chatuchak Weekend Market is also also within reach of us. And then the UN SCAP office, which is in the Old Town, as you can see there near the river, where the Grand Palace is. You probably know that area as well. So it's a big tourist attraction. Most of the kind of corporate offices are in the kind of Lumbini area, which is also near the US Embassy. So that sort of tends to be downtown. So there's one sort of like large area called downtown. I've put there. This is sort of Sukhumvit, where you hear a lot of people talk about that area, but also Silom and Saturn, where a lot of expats will live as well. So, but actually, what you'll see is that it's only really 25-kilometer in terms of the commute. So there's an expressway that kind of can send you all the way down. And then if you want to, but we wouldn't necessarily recommend it because it's just a lot of stops if you're standing up. There is actually a mass transit line that serves downtown. This is very useful if it's raining, because if there's any flooding or something, the train is totally unaffected, whereas the road might be the traffic might be bad. So in terms of commuting, so this is kind of the way things work. So if you leave Nichada at 6 a.m., you could be downtown at your office at 6:30. If you leave at 6:30, then it will take you a whole lot longer. So there's definitely a way to manage your commute if you are going to be commuting downtown. Equally, the UN, it's the same thing. If you leave by 6, you can be there at 6:30. If you leave at 6:30, it could take you an hour plus. So this kind of equally this exists on the return back. So having said that, even if you're living downtown, the traffic is terrible down there as well. So it might even take you longer if you're commuting to these locations by road. But really living in Nichada, it's, like most of it is on, you're just zooming down an expressway, and really it's when you hit traffic is it's really at certain times of the day. We do have a few commuting options for you. So the school does run a downtown shuttle service for parents that want to come up and down. We do have a number of parents living downtown. And then also the UN, we have a UN shuttle service for those working at ESCAP and UNICEF. So you can reach out to your admissions manager or to me directly if you'd like to know more about these commuting services. We also run a carpool matchmaker service. So you'll get an email when you arrive at ISB saying, where do you work? And we can also team you, like introduce you to kind of other parents who might be commuting downtown to exactly the same office. It's very, very common for a lot of our parents to be working in the same office and not know. Okay, so we're just going to quickly finish up with a few other ways in which we can connect and contribute at ISB. So I've spoken a little bit about our Booster Club, and I have to say it's really undergone quite a facelift. It's over the past few years, and so it's just a fantastic engine for school spirit, and and it's a great way to sort of meet other parents from all over the world and contribute to the school. IASIS is another really important conference that we compete in, and they're across the schools that I mentioned earlier. And really, the reason why this is so special is because, as parents, you'll be hosting students from these schools, and your kids playing in IASIS tournaments will be hosted by parents from other schools. So when you visit each other's country, you kind of meet all these people, and it's just an amazing way just a really special way to to meet other people and families similar to yours, and the kids that are billeted with each other, they often will go on to form friendships for years to come, and when your kids go to university as well, they'll usually link up with any kind of IASIS competitors. It really is a fantastic set of tournaments that we compete in. Our middle school Olympics wouldn't be possible without parent involvement. So really kind of vibrant couple of days there. We have IPN, which is a group of parents that kind of contribute to each other's professional development, and will come and do, there'll be wine evenings and workshops and talks, and even meeting a recruiter as well. So for those people that are trying to find work in Thailand, they also have sessions where they can meet recruiters. A lot of these parents will also help mentor kids and come in to speak to kids about their careers. This is something that we really want to ramp up over the next couple of years, and also provide opportunities for kind of work experience for students during the school holidays. We have a vibrant group of parents that arrange excursions. So you see, we did Top Golf. We had some parents visit our environmental wilderness campus outside of Bangkok. So plenty of programming there to get kind of people together. I think the next trip is to the Jim Thompson House in downtown Bangkok. So a lot of parents looking forward to that. We have the Network for Nature, which is the new group, which is parents who are coming together to raise the profile of sustainability within the school. And they're doing a whole lot of programming around Earth Day. One of the movies that they're going to be showing, when we reached out to the producers in Australia about this movie, the producer got back to us and said, "Oh, they're actually an ISB alumni." So yeah, it was a great moment, and we're looking forward to all of the programming for Earth Day from our Network for Nature parents. We have the Intercultural Week, which is a full week of programming where parents share their cultures. They take all our elementary school kids through, their national flags, traditions, food, dance, art. It's just an amazing way to get parents on campus and interacting with our kids. It's a wonderful week of programming, as you can see there. We have a full adult education catalog. So from everything from sourdough baking to Thai lessons, flamenco, yoga, computer, Excel, kickboxing. We have parents that offer to share their skills, but also we bring in external instructors to get parents kind of pursuing new skills, but also their passions. And of course, a lot of amazing connections are forged through these activities. Amazing opportunities for coaching and scouts as well. So on the right there, you can see Mary Elizabeth and Julie, who are two absolute superstars of ISB. And they're doing some amazing softball coaching, and our scouts are busy across a lot of service initiatives across the school. As I said, ISB is a great place to be new. So we have at the beginning of every year, we have a lot of parents, both new and existing, will come back and connect. And we plan to do a really big 75th Welcome Y next August. So I hope to see a lot of you there. We have community marketplaces. So if you're a baker or you want to sell something, or one of your kids is really good at crafts and wants to sell their soap, we have really fun community marketplaces that happen periodically throughout the year. And then, it's an amazing expressive place for parents that want to be involved in dance and choir. So these are all sort of community activities. A lot of them instructed by ISB teachers. But there are great ways in which to kind of pursue your kind of passions around dance, music, and drama, and these kinds of things. Okay, so just a few other practical points. If you need help with visas, real estate, hospitals, maid barns, relocations, health insurance, vehicle and recruitment consultants, vets and pet services, let us know. So we work with a number of different partners who we trust, and we will gladly point you in the right direction when it comes to all of these things. Some of which are also a condition of enrollment to ISB, such as health insurance. Everybody is going to need somewhere to live, so really kind of practical advice we can give you. And then IWIN, which is a group which has kind of flourished over the past year or so, have created a really useful guide about living in Nichada. So they also have a directory and can help you out with all this kind of thing. I understand is also relevant for men as well. So men can use the guide, not just women. So IWIN is a great kind of community resource to everybody living here. Okay, so the next steps, if you would like to submit an application, you can go ahead here or visit a campus if you haven't seen it already. Any other questions, you can contact admissions directly. I think that's about it for now. I think I've covered quite a lot of ground there. If you'd like to leave me any questions, you can do so now. And there is a chat box you can type your questions into, and I will do my best to answer them. If I can't answer them, I will tell you. Okay, so one is for families who do not reside in Nichada Thani, how might they still meaningfully be involved in the community? Okay, that's a great question. So I think I'll use like Network for Nature here as an example. So this was a group of parents that maybe they looked at the school and they kind of thought, well, like we have a specific set of skills and interests which are currently not being represented at the school. And they came together around sustainability, and that's something which is really well needed. At a not-for-profit school, we don't have a chief sustainability officer like you would maybe in like a company. So what we did is they sat down with me and some of my colleagues in the engagement office, and we really kind of worked through how they might be able to best add value to the school and also get involved in student learning. And we just found so many different ways in which they could do that. So again, I think there's going to be a whole load of options there for you, whether you live in Nichada or not. Really living in Nichada is not that important when it comes to contribution, providing that you're happy to get yourself to the school. But there are just many ways. For instance, the wonderful mum Canuck, who just did our accounting for our intercultural family fair, she lived downtown, but she was able to do a lot of the work remotely and by Zoom because it was all really sort of capturing costs on spreadsheets. So no, not living in Nichida is no barrier to getting involved in ISB and in the school. But if there's one way that you can kind of see a gap and you'd like to bring something to the school that would benefit everybody, you can go ahead and meet with us and pursue that. Okay, so how difficult or easy is it to find available housing in Nichada Thani? I would say the earlier you do this, the less trouble you're going to have. The reason for that is that the realtors basically have a spreadsheet of everybody who is in one house and they know when they're leaving. So they're going to be able to show you houses because they know when families are leaving, sometimes a year in advance. So the earlier you start, the better. These days, the school is quite full and the community is quite full. There are quite a few, we've had a lot of interest from the Middle East right now, so a lot of people wanting to move across. I would say we're sort of more, I'd say occupancy at Niche there is probably about 90%. But again, it all depends on what you want. Is it a condo? Is it a house? How many bedrooms? Um, Having said that, I never really hear people say, "Oh, we couldn't come to ISB because we couldn't find accommodation." That's very, very rare. I mean, or I don't think I've really ever heard that in my 8 years. So it's all about having a good realtor with a large number of a large inventory. I'd say that that's really important. So you can reach out to us directly for those because we basically know the realtors with the largest amount of inventory. Okay. Someone said thank you. Okay. Any other questions? Very happy to take other questions. I think we are 2 minutes from the top of the hour, but yeah, happy to take any more questions if you have any. Okay, so we have one question. Do you have a view on the new head of school? We know it's going to be one of three people because all three of them were here last week being interviewed by alumni and by our parents, by staff, by the interview committee. So we should have a better view on that soon. So watch this space. Good question. Okay, can you take the shuttle from time to time, or do you need to sign up for a regular service? Yeah, you can take it whenever you want. The shuttles just kind of leave every day, so it's just a hop on if you want it. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. So what I will say is that for the UN bus, there is a payment system there, which is 200 baht each way, which is about $5-6 US dollars. But for the parent bus, currently it's actually free. It's just put on by the school to help our downtown parents access the campus. So that does 2 runs a day. It also operates on a Saturday. Okay. Any other questions coming in? I think we've got 1 more minute. Okay. Just want to let everybody know 75 people on this call. So that's probably a record for these four webinars. So thank you very much. I'm actually quite surprised. I thought this would be the one with the least people on. So yeah, thank you all very much for joining today. Oh, there's one more question that's come in. How do parents know about everything happening on campus? Is there a newsletter, bulletin, online calendar? Yes, to all three. We're actually undergoing a extensive communications audit right now to work out the ways in which parents would like to have information fed through to them. There's a saying about ISB that it's always on. And there's also a nickname that teachers have for ISB called IS Busy. It's a very busy school. There is so much going on. And I think the challenge for us is to make sure you get the information you need and not the information that you don't need. If you are a parent on this call with a student in high school, middle school, and elementary school, you have my sympathies. There might be quite a lot of communication coming your way just because we tend to limit a lot of communication to divisions. But I think by next year you'll start to see a more streamlined communication system because we're going out and getting that feedback. But right now I can say there's basically a WhatsApp group for great for on a class level, and then there's a weekly newsletter that goes out, which is divided up between the different divisions. Also has community news there. And also, you'll get updates from your division directly, and also via some of the apps like Power School, which the you know or the learning software which is used in certainly in elementary school. So, but as I said, like we'd rather over communicate than under communicate, but we're trying to strike a balance on how we communicate going forward. Okay, so another question is, I was told that it's too late to apply by another parent to ISB and it's at capacity already. Are you still accepting applications and when is the deadline? I will find out for you, but no, I would still go ahead and put in an application. We are right now we're in peak application season, so no, I would we don't really get full in that way. It all kind of depends on which grade level your child is in, but I would definitely just go ahead, submit an inquiry form, put in an application, and we can take this case by case. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you so much to everybody for joining today. I hope this was useful. Any other questions, please do reach out to admissions. And I really hope to see a lot of you either on campus to look around the school or maybe at the welcome day in August, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're just planning it right now, and we're gonna keep you very entertained. So yeah, I hope you're excited, and yeah, looking forward to seeing you all here at some point. So on that, I'll let you get back to your evening or your day. Thank you very much indeed, and yeah, see you later.